Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time, with over 300 million copies sold to players from every single corner of the globe. And after 13 years, the game still has an active and stable player base, which is truly a testament to the genius of the game. However, like any game with such a large player base, not everyone is going to be 100% confident in English. Minecraft has over 128 languages available for players to play. However, there's one key difference between the languages of Minecraft and the languages of other games. Here is the list of languages for another extremely popular game, Grand Auto Theft 5, which sold over 200 million copies. You may notice that all the languages of this game are extremely large and widely spoken, with Polish being the smallest at 40 million speakers. I dare you to try and find a language on here which you haven't heard of before. Now, let's take a look at the language selection for Minecraft. English, so comforting. English for what kingdom? Shakespearean English? Bresno what now? God. Canuic Spanish, and more Spanish. My god. What the hell are half of these? Well, it's clear that Minecraft clearly has quite the unusual selection of languages, many of which are dialects of a language, stroke languages, or languages dancing with extinction. The languages for Java version of the game are community crowdsourced, and hence over the year the community has created numerous languages for the games. In this video, let's explore some of the more unique and interesting languages which has been added to this fascinating game. One of the more interesting and smaller languages which caught my eye while scrolling through the Minecraft language selection was Connaught, or Cornish. Cornwall is a small area in the southwest of England, known for pasties, beaches, and interesting accents. However, there's a reason why these accents exist, you see. This seemingly peaceful area of the UK used to have its own language. Here's a little bit of backstory. Several thousand years ago, an interesting group of people known as the Celts began to spread across Europe, and in 1000 BC they arrived in England for the first time. They lived on the Isles for thousands of years, and spoke their own Celtic languages. They even lived in relative peace under the Romans, until they left Britain in 410 AD. However, in 450 AD, a new challenger arrived on the Isles, the Germanic Anglo-Saxons. They originally arrived in what's now modern-day Kent. However, over time they expanded westward. The Celts were pushed into the far corners of the Isles, of what is now modern-day Scotland, Wales, and Cornwall. And hence, the language of Cornish was born. The earliest written record of Cornish was from the 9th century Latin manuscripts, in which the Cornish phrase "Ushroshas" was used. My apologies for my poor pronunciation. The language reached its peak in the 13th century with around 40,000 speakers. However, in the 17th century the language began to decline. In 1602, Richard Carew wrote his description of the state of the Cornish language. Most of the inhabitants cannot speak no word of Cornish, but very few are ignorant of the English. And yet, so affect their own as to a stranger which shall speak it, for if meeting them by chance, you inquire the way, or any such matter, your answer shall be, Mea navida cow sower's neck. My apologies, I don't speak Cornish. Which means I was speaking of Saxonage. The language became officially extinct after the death of the last native speaker, Dolipan Treef, in 1770s. However, in recent years efforts have been underway to revive the Cornish language. In 2005, a Cornish language partnership was created in order to agree on a standard form of the language. Throughout the area, the language is actively promoted and often taught throughout the country. For example, the ice cream band, Kelly's, meaning ice cream in Cornish, have created advertisements before in Cornish. This was the first time Cornish had ever been broadcasted on TV. In 2010, a new milestone was created, after UNESCO changed the classification of Cornish, setting the label of extinct to be no longer accurate. Cornwall has a population of approximately 560,000. It is estimated at the end of the 20th century, the number of speakers of a language was around 300, and since then it has increased to 2,000 people fluent in the language. That number continues to increase daily. The language was added to Minecraft in version 1.5. It's almost impossible to find any other info about whoever is responsible for adding the language to the game, however. It is proof of a large game supporting a tiny Celtic dialect, and perhaps it has helped just a few people to pick up the language. Furthermore, Cornish is possibly the smallest language in the entire game. However, there is also 5 different versions of English in the game. And no, I'm not talking about the fact we have different versions of English for each area England is spoken in. I'm talking about pirate speak, upside down English, Shakespearean English, and lolcat. I'm sure many of these are fairly self-explanatory. I'll explain English as this is more unique and interesting. Here is Wikipedia's pie chart showing the composition of the English language. English is technically a Germanic language originally used by the Anglo-Saxons. However, I think most people can clearly see that this pie chart has demonstrated the colossal clusterfuck of a language that is English. English aims to solve this issue by taking English back to its Germanic roots. English aims to remove all the vocabulary of Romance languages, meaning no French, Latin, or Greek. It is purely a Germanic version of English. I recommend you play the game in it and see how much you can understand. It truly makes one realize how much we borrowed from our Romance cousins. Or perhaps you would like to play in lolcat, the most adorable version of English imaginable, where shield becomes cat protection, or candle becomes hot stick. Or perhaps after a long day you would like to set your booty down with some pirate speak. However, Minecraft contains numerous constructed languages. Languages which were created often for use in fantasy worlds or simply to simplify communication. One example of this is Tokipona. If you've never heard of Tokipona, it is a language containing just 120 words. You may be wondering, how on earth is it possible to communicate in such a way? And the answer to that is by combining various words together. I would like to warn you beforehand, I do not speak Tokipona, so I apologize for any bad pronunciation or mistranslations. For example, the word for stone axe is Yilo Kipsi Kiwan. Yilo means tool, Kipsi means cut, and Kiwan means break/block. Kiwan literally translates to block, so the name translates to tool, cut, break. But ironically, for a language intended to simplify things, the opposite effect can take place. For example, Nena ilo pi kiwen pi meja pi selopona. That was the name for a black stone button. The name literally translates to a bub tool of stone dark of skin and good. Now that is a compound word, which puts German to shame. However, Minecraft is something rather rare. The game contains not 1, but 3 native African languages. And now I'm not counting European languages brought into the continent, or Arabic. The game contains Igbo, Yoruba, and Somali. Igbo and Yoruba are both languages spoken in Nigeria, with Yoruba having approximately 47 million speakers, and Yoruba at 31 million. Somali is also a fairly large language, with 24 million speakers. These languages are large enough to rival some of Europe's most prominent languages. Well, how many of these can you confidently say that you've heard of before? I personally cannot find any information on any other games which can provide translation in these languages, or any other native African language. However, if you know any, please leave your answer in the comments. Minecraft is truly unique in its language options. There's far more I have not discussed, such as a wide variety of dialects Minecraft is available in, many of which are endangered, and Minecraft helps to support these dialects. Although, everything is not entirely accurate. After all, these translations are from a fan base, and hence, not all of them are entirely accurate. However, one must wonder if this game would have reached the same levels of popularity if it wasn't for the 120 different languages available to play in, and I wonder, which one